JS with Dave on deck, a writing experiment that you think you would like everybody to do and yourself too.
Yeah, one for me is write taking off from visual projections, whether mental or mechanical, without thought to the word in the ordinary sense, no craft. In particular, because I'm just really interested in kind of visual verbal translations, and this is maybe also to plug the Slow-Po class I'm probably teaching next semester.
It hasn't been confirmed yet?
Well, I sent my little description to Lainey earlier today.
Okay. Tell us what it is.
But it's on Renee Gladman's Plans for Sentences.
Oh, great.
Which is, translating between the visual and the verbal. And so, yeah, I'm very interested in, when words do feel imagey or imagistic even, and when they, escape visual translation.
Marvelous. Gabby, JS is quite an addition to the ModPo team, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it's great.
It's very exciting. Thank you, JS. We're going to turn to Dave, and Sophia's on deck. Dave, a writing experiment?
Find the poems you think are the worst poems ever written, either by your own self or other poets. Study them, then write a bad poem.
Why do you like that, Dave?
Well, I think learning what you don't like is such a great way to learn what you like. I mean, I was an assistant poetry editor for a journal briefly, and I got to go through the slush pile, which is just all the submissions that are sent, and most of them are not awesome. And the more you read those, the more you can get a feel for what really is awesome. And also, Ira Glass has a little monologue on creativity and how when you start out trying to do something creative, you can recognize that what you're doing is bad. It's not good. But you can't figure out how exactly to make it good. And the process of doing that is working through and recognizing the badness, not getting frustrated by it, but just working through it. And focusing on bad poems is a great exercise, I think.
Very cool. I think a variant on that might be get a bad poem and do some stuff to make it good, in quotes, and to see where it goes from, in your judgment, bad to good. And then, of course, in a Cajun sense, you won't even know where that line is.
Or get a good poem and do things to it to make it bad.
Add some cliches. Now that Bernadette would like, yeah. Okay. Sophia is going to introduce one, and then by that point, we might be introducing someone on the phone. Sophia?
Okay. I like the experiment that says attempt writing in a state of mind that seems least congenial.
Congenial, yes.
Because, I don't know, as a writer, I feel like my least favorite thing to do is write because I work 2 jobs. I just feel like I'm so busy and tired all the time. And so I'm always in a state of mind where writing seems like the most taxing thing in the world. And I still do it, and it still turns out okay.
Turns out better than okay from what I've seen. That's
Thanks.
Great. Okay, that's very good. It's partly a motivation thing. Bernadette was really, really good at motivating people to just write. That's very good. Chris, we have someone on the phone.
We do indeed. Our friend Mandana is on the line.
Oh, Mandana.
Yes.
Mandana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Al. Can you hear me?
I can. Congratulations on the Lydia Davis interview, the Brooklyn Rail. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We're very excited for you.
She's amazing.
Now, you had something else to do.
I met her at Kelly Ryder's house.
I know. She was a Writers' House fellow. Yeah. You had other things to do tonight, but you decided to join us.
Well, I finished my, I was moderating a panel, a Zoom one, and then I hung up, and once I hung up, I joined your call. Of course.
That's wild. Mandana, what we're doing right now is we're going into Bernadette's writing experiment. So we'd like you to join the party. And while I think next would be Allie, while Allie's offering one, maybe you'll look up one, and I'll come back to you, and you'll tell us about it. Does that sound okay?
Sounds
great. Okay. So
Sounds
we're going to go.
terrific. Hi, Allie.
Hi, Mandana.
So Allie's going to go next, and then Mandana.
I like rewrite someone else's writing, experiment with theft and plagiarism. because I think it relates to what Dave was saying in terms of figuring out what you do and do like. I think that that would be equally interesting to experiment with theft and plagiarizing, something that you admire intensely and can't imagine how anyone wrote it, and also something that you really don't like and yet is considered good, and just kind of like play around with that. But I think if like if plagiarism is involved in a prompt or assignment that you're giving yourself, it automatically frees you from the expectation that like anything is going to come of this that is like productive or that you can publish or that like is good in like a sense. And that just frees you up to do a lot of just like intellectual work, divorced from an expectation that it needs to like be something attached to you.
Hey, Allie, is there a change? Has there been a change in attitudes toward plagiarism as a creative act?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure if I can answer that question. Like, can you narrow that a bit? What in what sphere?
I don't know. John's going to add something, then we'll come back to you. John?
Yeah, so I kind of wonder about artificial intelligence. So, you know, when you look at all the stuff, including poetry, that artificial intelligence can generate, I mean, is that plagiarism? Is it, how real is it? How real is any of this stuff, right? So that kind of, I think, highlights the, you know, what does it mean to plagiarize someone else? You know, what does it mean to even, one of the other prompts, the one that I thought was interesting, was basically almost plagiarizing yourself, like editing down your own work, you know, in some rules-based way.
Yeah.
And the analogy that makes sense for me is actually nature, where words are almost like elements in nature. Like when you look at a landscape, it was formed by some natural rules, right? And it's got basic components in it. If you use words as your basic component and you apply a rule, you're creating just like nature is. You're not necessarily being original, you're not plagiarizing, but you're just sort of creating.
That's beautiful. The radical view of this is something that was in somewhere in the colloquy that Anna and I had that led to her amazing Halloween analogy. And I mentioned John Hollander or Robert Frost. There is a radical view. It's a view that some people at this table, maybe all of us, would hold, which is that by doing the thing that poets do, John Hollander and Robert Frost were actually being least original. And by using a computer-generated or chance-based rearrangement of words that were already out there, or rewriting Gertrude Stein using a computer, you actually are being more creative and more original. Because the process of Hollander writing a nice iambic line is radically unoriginal. It's like the moralism of Anna saying, oh, well, we had to get a Cinderella costume, which you got wholesale. That is plagiarism. And what the little infant wore was originality and creativity. Oh. Does that hurt?
Picking on little kids.
Picking on little kids. Sorry. Mandana, do you have one of the experiments? And after Mandana will be Jason.
Yes, I do. But just based on what you're saying right now, I'm not asking anyone to answer this, but you're making me think about, well, what is poetry? I don't want to say supposed, but what is poetry doing? Is it for the writer to express themselves, or is it for it to have an impact upon others? And I would suggest
right?
that if it's to have and if it's the latter, then the more open, the better.
Yes.
The more open, the better, because you're allowing breath and space for the reader to sit with what you're writing. So there are two, because, if you say one, I'm going to give you two. There are two, but they're very related to each other. One is to systematically eliminate the use of certain kinds of words or phrases from a piece of writing, like adjectives, adverbs, whatever. And then the second, but I kind of like the language of this more, systematically derange the language. Write a work consisting only of prepositional phrases or add a gerund to every line of an already existing work. And I love that because with English as my second language, there was a bit of derangement to it. Certain languages pedestal nouns more than verbs, certain pedestal verbs or adjectives more than nouns. And that I love the fact that in the English language, I don't know if Bernadette ever wrote in any other language, she had a translator's heart, a director's heart, the same way a director might direct Hamlet 15 different ways. That's why you can always have revivals of Hamlet. So beyond being a poet, I think she was a director in a lot of ways when it came to language.
Jason, so you're hitting cleanup. Can you pick a fun experiment that you would actually like to do?
Yeah, well, like, give me all this time to meander in my brain. I'm going to pull together a bunch of weird stuff. So the thing that came to mind is, as I'm reading through the list, is the etymological work experiment, and which I'll just read a little bit of this. It's kind of down a ways in the list of experiments. Experiment with investigating the etymologies of all words that interest you, including your own name. Approaches to etymologies. Take a work you've already written. Look up the etymological meanings of every word. Study the history of the words. Rewrite the work on the basis of the information found out. Another approach, build poems and writings from the etymological families based on Indo-European language constructs. For example, the BHEL family, bulge, bowl, belly, boulder, billow, ball, balloon, and I just wanted the opportunity to say those B words out loud.
Say them again. Jason, say them again.
Bulge, and I don't know how to pronounce BHEL.
BHEL?
Yeah, that's what she has here, and it's in all caps.
JS is looking it up.
Okay, great. Bulge, bowl, belly, boulder, billow, ball, balloon. And
they're etymologically related or sonically related?
They are, yeah. So here's my little story. So I was looking at this, and then I was looking at this thing that I just put up on the wall like a couple days ago, which is is a
cool.
comprehensive
Our world language families, old world.
Yeah, so this is the kind of evolutionary history of a whole bunch of languages.
Very cool.
Going from Indo-European up here and going there, so we can see like the current density of language speakers. But the thing is the I mean, in a way, this is like an evolutionary tree. Like it's and so I had two thoughts. One is I did in a class I had taught by Keith Waldrop in college.
Oh wow, Keith.
Yeah.
Wait, were you at Brown?
Taught a class that was just on Auden.
Keith Waldrop taught Auden?
Yeah, listen, wait, let me tell you the three.
I think Gabby would have signed up for that class.
It was, I wanted to take a class with Keith, and then I did an independent study with him, and it was on scientific.
Wow.
Science and poetry. It was amazing.
Yeah.
He originally was going to be a doctor and went to medical school.
That's right. He was in the army, too.
Yeah, he's just...
In Germany after
Anyway,
World War
so
II.
Keith Waldrop is not somebody in ModPo, but everybody who's listening, he's an amazing guy, and is an incredible poet. Husband of Rosemary Waldrop, who we do encounter. He was teaching class on Auden, Marion Moore, and T.S. Eliot.
Oh my gosh.
And I wrote a paper which was just doing etymological research on 2 lines from Eliot's 4 quartets, which were garlic and sapphire in the mud, clot the bedded axle tree. And
wait, did Eliot really write those lines?
Yeah.
Can you repeat them?
Garlic and sapphire in the mud, clot the bedded axle tree.
Time out. Gabby, what do you think? Overwritten?
No, I like it. I don't know.
All right, can you find it?
Yeah, I mean, Jason's not lying. It is lines from Four Quartets.
Yeah, which part?
Garlic and sapphires in the mud, clawed the bedded axle trees.
What the hell? What is he doing?
I don't.
Oh,
It's section
read the
2.
paper.
And
Al.
Jason wrote
I've
a
got
whole
it- I've
paper.
got it,
Jason, will you please send that paper to
It's
all
in
of
the
us?
first of the Four Quartets.
Well, I
section
wrote it in my junior year of college.
I wish I'd known you then.
I wish I'd known me then.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I'm gonna.
What I mean is, I
Yeah.
wasn't the same. I was a frightened guy, but I did like. But what I'm saying is, writing that paper was the most important poetry experience I ever had.
Wow.
It blew open language to me, and I just spent a month with the OED, going deeper and deeper
Yeah,
into those
I can imagine
that
it.
sequence of words.
Yes.
And it was like watching the universe expand into itself.
I just want to say, Jason, that this cornucopia-like comment that you've just made, which is so fabulous, managed to memorialize Keith, who's recently deceased and is being memorialized on this very night up in Providence, and managed to get us into connection with the density of sonically related, etymologically related language trees